taken all of my makeup off, and like I said in the intro, I just wanted to start with some very simple basics. The reason I feel like this is an important starting point is because so many people want to jump from the rookie to the star of the show, and they did not have the proper training in between. It's the same way with work, it's the same way with school, it's the same way with makeup. So if you don't know some really key basic things, you may find yourself frustrated a lot because you can't get whatever it is covered properly, or you can't achieve the look that you really want, and you may not know how to do it. So my job is to answer the why, and the why will automatically lead you to the how. Makeup is a science the same way, computer science or engineering or business management or whatever. They're all forms of sciences, medical, whatever. Makeup is no different. So if you really want to properly know how to do makeup on yourself and on others, you really do need to know some super basic things. The first thing that I go over, particularly in this video, since we're going to be talking about foundation, is color theory. So many artists have no idea what that is because they're just copying what they see someone else do. And that person that they're copying may or may not know color theory and why things are put the way that they are. So let's just start with that. Color theory is literally the study of color. How color merges together, how color repels each other. Basically, that's what it is. How you can mix colors to achieve another tone or another tint. I'm just going to go over the basics. In the color wheel, you have three priming to be blue, yellow, and red. Anytime you mix any of those colors together, they will create another hue. It works in makeup the same way. So let's say, for instance, I have purple under my eyes. If I have dark circles and they have a purple tint. On the color wheel, purple and yellow are opposites. So whatever I do, I need to have something with a yellow base in it in order to get the purple out. If I have blue under my eyes, I need to use something with an orangey, peachy base to get the blue out, to neutralize the blue. If I have green, and there are people that have green, almost a purple green tint under their eye, and that's usually Mediterranean women, Indian women that have that really strong olive skin. They need to use something that has a red base to it in order to neutralize the green under their eyes. So most cosmetic companies, are not going to add a lot of toner to their product because it's for a mass market. So you can go to the counter and get a match that is close as possible to what you need. But what professional artists will always do is we neutralize things. This is very, very important, particularly if you are working in film, if you are working with anything on camera, music videos, television interviews, news stations, whatever that may be. Because in those instances, you cannot Photoshop mistakes out. You cannot auto-tune them, basically. You can't do that if it's a live recording. So some of these things you've got to know. I'll give you a few of the products that I like and that I'll use, and then I'll actually do some concealer on myself to just give you an idea of the shade range that should be used if you're trying to get more of a natural look versus the shade range that you can use if you want a more dramatic look, and I'll go through that too. So the first thing I like to use is, you probably have seen this before. This is the Makeup Forever Flash Palette. I absolutely love this palette because it gives me a ton of color range that I can use when I need to neutralize anything. So like I said, if you have a client that has very purple, or if you yourself have a lot of purple under your eyes, you're going to want to use this yellow here to neutralize it. If you have a lot of blue under your eyes, you're going to want to use this peach tone, which is the closest in here to orange. If you have a lot of green under your eye, you're going to want to use a red. I've seen some videos where people have used lipsticks and things like that, which is possible too, like red lipstick to get the sort of the green, dark circle under the eye. But in this palette, they've got every single color. Because I love it so much, I absolutely have I think I have 3 or 4 of them because I've got different kits. So they're just in each kit. It seems to work best for me so I don't have to take things out of one and put it in another. The other thing too, as far as when you choose your concealer color, if you are trying to do makeup for work, makeup to just run out and run an errand, I would suggest that you use a color that is maybe 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin. If you are doing the heavy beat, of course you can go as light as you want, but there's a lot of work that comes with that. So I tend to speak to women who would rather just do a 5-minute look, you know, or just give themselves a super quick, do something, get out the door. And so I'll do that side first. So I'm going to take my lovely, under my eye, I mean, it's kind of early, but under my eye, it's a little more, I don't want to say purple. Yeah, it's a little like right in here, right in this area here. I have a little bit of a purple tint. So naturally, I'm going to neutralize that area first with something that's more yellow. I have 2 products, other than the Makeup Forever palette that I use consistently. On myself when I'm home, I actually use a neutralizer by a brand called YBF. And it's black packaging, so you may not really be able to see it. There we go, sort of. YBF. YBF is actually sold on television, but I've seen her products for forever, so I decided I would try them. It is a yellow neutralizing cream, and it looks a little bit brighter on camera than what it is in person, but it's like a pale, like a butter yellow. I generally will take just a little bit. I don't use a ton. I don't pile a ton on, because to be very honest, the more you pile on, the more you're going to have to try to soak off with a blender or a sponge, and that adds more time to your work. So all I do is I take that and I just go right in here first. And if you notice, it's not a lot. It's not a ton. It's a very light hand. I just got a little bit more for the edge here. Very, very, very light. Very light. All that did is just took away the the purple color. It didn't add my concealer color to it. It just neutralized the other color. So I will do the same thing on this eye, because I'm going to do both eyes. Same deal, just a little bit, not a ton. I'm not slapping it on and just doing layers and layers and layers and layers, because to be very honest, most days that amount of layering is probably not necessary. If you like it and you like to have your makeup really on like that, then whatever, have fun. But most of my clients, like I said, are high profile clients. I've got some celebrity clients, and you know, a lot of regular women that just want super quick things. So I'm showing you the super quick things. What I do want to do though for this point is I'm going to show you the concealer that is 1 shade lighter than my skin versus a concealer that is like 7 shades lighter. This is really to sort of prove a point. So the concealer that I use, Select Moisture Cover. You can use whatever kind you like. It's NC42. My skin is between an NC44 and an NC45. So this is barely lighter, just a shade or so lighter. And if it's not coming up, then that's okay, because my focus, I need to get a different lens. But if you look at it, it's very, very close to the skin color under here. Now, I have another product that I've had for a while, but this is MAC NC35, which would technically be almost 5 shades, 6 shades lighter. That is this side. If I'm trying to do a strong beat, I would go with something like this, or maybe even lighter if I felt like it. But for everyday reasons, I'm going to do these two. So on this side, I'm going to do my NC42, which is 1 shade lighter than my normal foundation, right? I'm just going to do one. I just do a few dots, not many. Just whatever ends up being on the wand, I'll just dot on there. So I usually will take my finger and just blend that in. Now, because this is only 1 shade lighter, right, I can actually blend this down and it blends into the rest of my face. Seriously. because it's only one shade lighter. So if I decided to just do this in powder or just do this in bronzer, I would be very safe in doing so because it's so close to my skin color, but it does brighten it up just a little, right? Okay, completely neutralized, covered, normal. Let's go into the one that's like 6 shades lighter in C35. Now, some people I see even going more than 5 shades. They're going 8, 9, 10 shades. Now, let me just show you the difference. So when we look at a lot of IG and YouTube tutorials, this is the depth that a lot of the artists are going. Now, there's nothing wrong with this if you have time to blend and beauty blend and sponge and contour and whatever. If you have the time to do that, then do it. It's great. That's fine. But this video isn't necessarily for that. It is for your everyday 5-minute wear. Now, let's just say all I had time to do was this, put some eyebrows on, put a little lip gloss on, and go out the door, right? I don't have time for foundation. I don't have time for blush. I just have time to do this and, you know, run out the door. Let's just say quick powder. Okay, it's not really powder on here. But when I look at myself, do you see how much lighter this area is here than here? This area looks like me, okay? It looks like my skin. It just looks like I slept. This area is a lot lighter, a lot lighter. This is usually not the goal of many of my clients. High profile down to teenagers. I mean, I've worked with a lot of big names and regular folks. I'm not, I'm not a respecter of persons in that regard. So a tidbit for what we have to do on set when we're doing magazine shoots, when we're doing award shows and stuff, unless you have the time to then blend a ton of stuff in here and then, you know, balance it out with blush, don't do this. I don't even know how to say that nice. Go back to the basics. Go back to Makeup 101. What will neutralize and enhance so that I can be in the bathroom and out of the bathroom in a 5-minute time frame? And I'm not going to work looking like this is so light and it doesn't look like my natural skin. Again, this is if I don't have time to do anything else, right? If I'm just doing concealer. This series of videos is more so for my regular women with more mature skin, maybe women that have, you know, a career and children and married and soccer practice and football games and all this stuff. We generally just don't have the time to be in the mirror for 2 hours trying to get everything done. If I'm going out, completely different story. But for the everyday, you know, time limits that we have, we need to go back to the basics. Otherwise, what happens is when you add too much and you do too much, then you need a sponge and a blender to try to pat it all off, pat it all off, pat it all off. Oh, okay, now this is too much. Pat it all off, pat it all off. How about you just start with a light hand and then build from there? That's generally what the professionals a lot of times will do. We will start with the light hand and build, because it's always easier to build than it is to have to take it off and redo it. If I build it, I'm safe. If I just layer lightly, I'm safe. If I take stuff and I just start slapping it on, you know, the concealer's just, everything is on, brows dark, all of those things, you then have to scale it back. But why throw so much on only to have to scale it back if you could work opposite and do light and then build on top of it? So hopefully I have clarified some things. The next video will be foundation and it'll just be super basic. I am going to wipe this off though and put my normal concealer back on. I just did this to sort of show you the difference of the regular and the super highlighted. And again, I could go lighter than this, but I'm not going to do that. So hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything, I may have probably skipped some things, just put them down in the message box and I'll get them. I'll answer them for you. So I'll talk to you guys soon.